The popularity of Eddie Brock, aka Venom, is firmly established. His iconic design and relatable characterization have proven engaging, but casual viewers may not be familiar with the madness that ensues within Venom's comic book history. Just as Spider-Man's world spins out of control within the depths of the Spider-Verse, so too does Venom's in Marvel's 5-issue event series, Venom-Verse. This substantial story arc swings the reader along as everyone's favorite symbiote bonds with the likes of Black Panther, Doctor Strange, Gwenpool, and Old Man Logan, among others. This robust ensemble is assembled to repel a nightmarish enemy, and though every character has a moment to shine, Venom-Verse deepens the character of Eddie Brock by contrasting him with a multiversal panel of protectors. It compels readers to wonder, why Eddie Brock? What makes him unique when positioned next to those of seemingly unlimited power? A whole new world. Things begin with Venom confronting Jack-O-Lantern, a villain with an obscure identity who glides around Manhattan on a broomstick. Not only does this antagonist moniker manifest in his hellish appearance, but also in his methods. Jack-O-Lantern would leave some of his victims' heads empty, save for some candles. Jack's first encounter with the Venom symbiote was during Flash Thompson's time as its host, but comes into contact with Eddie Brock thanks to the latter's encroaching on Jack's territory. The villain looks to be fleeing in utter terror, with Venom seemingly in pursuit. Though both Jack and the reader can't spot him at first, that is until Eddie intercepts Jack in the air, toppling him from his broomstick. Things don't last long between them, and Venom corners the villain on the fire escape of an apartment building. Venom's violent appetite immediately becomes apparent when he chucks Jack from the fire escape, then subsequently lands atop the villain's spine with fervor. It's a stunning scene, reflected in a crowd of onlookers beginning to amass beside the ruckus. However, Venom assures the crowd that he's the good guy, saying, "Get back, this man is dangerous, a murderer." The charm of this statement, given what Venom had just done, is both charming and integral to a lot of the themes explored in this storyline. Is Eddie Brock even a hero? Is he worthy of being Venom? Jack-O-Lantern is spared further justice when Venom is suddenly teleported elsewhere. Eddie finds himself in the same alleyway he was in, yet there's no sign of Jack, nor the onlookers who were accumulating nearby during the assault. No, this world is ruined, covered in grime and grief. Nowhere is this more evident than in Eddie's first encounter with his new surroundings. A young boy, aglow with pallor, innocently asking for help. Venom has always been an advocate for the less fortunate. His first solo miniseries, Lethal Protector, charts the character's journey from loner vigilante to the guardian of an underground city housing the homeless population. In Venom-Verse, Eddie again acts in empathy, reaching out to take the ghostly kid's hand. Suddenly, the child is unceremoniously wasted with a shield to the head, a fate similar to many a rival of the Star-Spangled Man. Venom doesn't appreciate this apparent murder, which I think we can all understand, and prepares for a fight, only to find himself confronted by Captain Venom, the symbiote of liberty, the Venom out of time. Given this variant of Steve Rogers recruits nearly every member of this world's resistance forces, it's clear he retains many of the dutiful attributes usually associated with the Captain. Venom is continuously reinforced throughout this epic as a conduit for characters to reach their full potential, making Captain Venom's impending arc all the more poignant. Oh, it'll get dark. And not even Cap's shining optimism will save it this time. The symbiote of freedom attempts to recruit Eddie into a war being waged in the world he now finds himself in. The conflict threatens the safety of the Venom symbiotes across all realities, thanks to the aggressor, the Poisons, an understated foe that forgoes the concussion of cannons in favor of manipulating memories. Relentlessly creepy, these little guys are intent on being the biggest bads of Venom's career. But before we go any further, don't forget to drop a like and subscribe for some plot armor today. This is a new channel and we'd appreciate all the support we can get. So, how do the Poisons function? It's easier to understand if we use Eddie's initial interaction as an example. What we see is what Eddie does, a scared child needing help. But these odd little crystalline figures, vaguely humanoid, are what is actually there. Using Venom's emotions, insecurities, or memories, this Poison approaches Eddie and attempts to initiate physical contact. In this case, Captain Venom solved the problem pretty effectively, but what if the Poison had managed to reach Eddie? Tragically, it doesn't take long before we're given an idea. Personally, these are some of the most unsettling Marvel foes I've seen in a while, with their design both familiar and foreign. I'm certain you'd agree, they're something you'd see in a nightmare. Captain Venom leads Eddie to his comrades, a star-studded cast of symbiotic supers including Black Panther, Deadpool, Old Man Logan, Rocket Raccoon, Spider-Man, and more, all properly Venomized, further led by a bonded Doctor Strange, who brought all these Venom variants to combat the Poison threat here in this world. Stick around for later in the video where we'll go over these characters' backstories. It's shortly made clear, even with his symbiote, Eddie's teammates find his addition questionable. Unsurprisingly, Spider-Man loudly voices his distaste for Eddie, calling him a psycho. Then, in a particularly cathartic moment for the character, Eddie stands up to his first enemy, saying, "I guess you decided to keep your symbiote on whatever world you're from. You think that gives you the stones to get in my face?" This is what's left of the Resistance. A lot of symbiotes mixed with some vitriolic bickering. Yes, it seems a formidable force, until Spider-Man's senses indicate impending danger. Cue a Poison Hulk smashing through the hideout ceiling, and Venom having to join forces with the one guy he actively hates to avoid capture. In the disastrous aftermath of the Hulk's attack, Captain Venom is captured, sacrificing himself so the rest can escape. And as we return to Venom and Spidey, things are not looking great. The two coordinate their attacks well, though their target, Poison Dr. Octopus, certainly makes it difficult with the multi-pronged attack. Peter takes a brutal jab from Ock, prompting him to recover while Venom goes on the offensive. This allows Peter's body to rest, but the poisons target his soul, employing an image of Aunt May to entice him into touching one of them. The moment is held out long enough to let the reader build up a little hope, but the web is pulled out from under us. Peter had succumbed to the guile of the poisons and touched the little critter. This leads to a suitably ominous reveal of Poison Spider-Man as he proclaims, "Spider-Man, he's gone now, but I'm gonna do what he never had the guts to even try. I'm gonna kill Venom." At this point, it's still unclear what exactly has happened to Peter following his encounter with the poison, but it's clear his psyche has at least been altered given his threat of murder. However, I'll say it, I didn't quite buy the moment where Peter gives in to the poison. I've always seen Peter Parker as a remarkably strong-willed character and didn't really imagine him falling for such an obvious illusion. I suppose the years of having the symbiote bonded with him may have weakened his moral compass and therefore his will, in some way at least. It also works for Eddie's story in this arc as it reverses his fortune in a substantial way. Now Spidey is the villain and he is the hero. The fog of war. Venom's battle with Poison Spider-Man ends pretty badly, with the curtain almost closing on this story early. Venom proves no match for the new Spidey and is pummeled into the pavement before nearly being fed to the little poisons. The Lethal Protector is a capable opponent, but he is no match for the sheer power of the hive mind his old foe is now a part of. However, in turn, the hive underestimates the strength of the Venomized forces. Eddie is rescued by some of his symbiotic acquaintances, Deadpool, Old Man Logan, and Spinneret, the latter being a superpowered variant of the beloved Spider-Man character Mary Jane Watson. This fact proves essential in the quartet's battle with the Poison Web-Slinger as he hesitates when given the opportunity to kill her. Eddie manages to recover and attack Spidey in tandem with Logan, forcing the Webhead's retreat. The Venomized allies regroup with Panther, Strange, and the rest of the Venoms. Here we learn more about the poisons. Once bonded with a symbiote, the latter becomes more powerful, but the host is only used up as nutrients to maintain power. In short, Doctor Strange put it eloquently, they are not unlike a virus, one that seems to be designed for our own eradication. A grim fate for several of their friends who have fallen to the crystalline crooks, including the likes of Hawkeye, Scarlet Witch, and Storm. The sun sets on this very long day with a touching tribute to Venom's origins. The Venomized resistance finds refuge in the ruins of Our Lady of Saints Church, the site of Eddie and Venom's first meeting. As they recuperate, Rocket Raccoon formulates plans for a bomb to detonate at the Poison's hive, while Eddie contemplates bringing in some, shall we say, bloody backup. And you're gonna want to stick around for this next part because there's gonna be some chaos, that's what I meant to say. Meanwhile, Captain Venom is in dire straits. Captured by Poison forces, he is tortured using sonic waves, which inflicts heavy damage on his symbiote. Nevertheless, Cap remains steadfast in his resistance, his captor's demands to give in. Even the image of Sharon Carter cannot break him, though it comes exceedingly close. In true Steve Rogers fashion, however, he insists that the Poison try harder if they seek to break him. His last words before he is consumed are a taunt: "Do your worst." A very cold moment right there for Captain America. The extent of Cap's willpower is inspiring, perhaps even further cemented in his character per the symbiote's influence. Unfortunately, the Poisons take Cap's words as a command, doing away with the pleasantries of impersonations and just consuming Cap outright. It's not explicitly shown, leaving readers to imagine what the symbiote of patriotism's fate involved. No matter the method, the Poisons gain another superheroic body for their forces. Cap joined the likes of Sabretooth as an enforcer in the corrupted Doctor Doom's quest to consume all Venoms. They resolve to target the Venomized Doctor Strange, the only being capable of importing Venoms from across the multiverse for assimilation. And to top it all off, in a stunning twist, Venomized Deadpool decides to surrender himself to the Poisons as he exclaims the futility of resisting. A fourth wall break explaining your plan would be nice, Wade. Now is as good a time as any, right? And is that Bullseye, Green Goblin, and Iron Fist? Let there be carnage. We would then immediately catch up with Deadpool, now a member of the Hive, as he is welcomed into the fold by Doom. Remember when we mentioned the reoccurring theme of Venom being a conduit for one to reach their true potential? Well, as Doom initiates Deadpool, his choice of words were interesting. Deadpool, welcome to the Hive. You have been reborn and your true potential has been unlocked. Subtly, this quote establishes the Hive as not only the physical antagonist to the Venoms, but their thematic antagonist as well. Both assist their host in becoming something more, leaving the reader to wrestle with which is more beneficial to its host. After Deadpool's orientation, a Poison Field team consisting of Bullseye, Captain Venom, Green Goblin, Iron Fist, and Rhino is assembled to assault the Venoms. Deadpool supplies the location of his former allies to the Poison Field team. Let's call it the Wreck-It Crew. So yeah, he supplies the location of the Poison Wreck-It Crew. But they have no idea the carnage waiting to be unleashed upon them. Within the moody halls of this old cathedral, Doctor Strange reaches out across dimensions for Eddie's aforementioned bloody backup. The sorcerer finds his target, and in a frightening splash page, carnage is unleashed upon the Venom-Verse as Cletus Cassidy tumbles through Strange's portal. Apparently, Strange not only managed to summon a Cassidy that was mid-killing spree, but also one who had killed his universe's Venom. Yet fate, or sorcery, brought him here to an entire universe of them. And Carnage wastes no time in resuming his bloodlust. During a brief scuffle with the Venoms, Carnage is overjoyed when the poisons ambush the church. Entertained by the prospect of more powerful victims, a massive battle ensues, resulting in the poisons capturing Doctor Strange, but also a boost of fury in the Venoms as they were able to drive off the Hive. Perhaps understandably, the team is hesitant to acknowledge Cassidy's contribution to the fight. Nonetheless, it wouldn't be a Venom-Verse without incorporating Carnage somehow. In this way, the character is honored while also being given something constructive to do, carrying on the trend in emerging hero stories, to not only face one's villains, but work with them, leading to a deeper understanding of the enemy. No matter the contributor, the fruits of the Venom's labor seems lost in the Poison's kidnapping of Strange. The operation at the church does strain the relationship between Deadpool and the rest of his Hive comrades thanks to the surprise entry of Carnage. Captain Venom expresses skepticism that Deadpool wasn't privy to the villain's arrival to assist the Venoms. Nonetheless, Doom remains unfazed and dismisses these concerns. Strange is a hostage, having played into the Poison's hands by importing so many Venoms for them to consume. The issue ends as the error of his ways, the naivete of his hope, dawns on the Sorcerer Supreme. Let's talk backstories. So, as hope periodically dwindles in the Venom-Verse, let's rekindle the hero's fighting spirit by exploring how these variants came to be bond with their respective Venoms. The Venom symbiote happened upon him in Our Lady of Saints Church after Spider-Man exposed Eddie Brock's faulty journalism. Not to mention this exact symbiote had previously bonded with Spider-Man, a variant of which we see here that decided to keep Venom in his reality. Those are our basics. Now onto the Venom-Verse army. X-23, during her escape from experimentation akin to Weapon X, accidentally ruptures a canister containing the symbiote. Old Man Logan, having raised Bruce Banner as his own son, comes clean about his showdown with the child's father. This incites a series of events that led to his adopted son trying to kill him using a venomized T-Rex. I don't know. The Old Man Logan timeline is a bit bizarre. The symbiote transfers to him and the rest is history. Violent history. And so, while those ones are simple, as you can see they're a bit weird. Rocket Raccoon joins the Venoms in their fight against the Poisons, having traversed the galaxy with a venomized cabal of Guardians. However, he was forced to kill them once the Poisons got to them, and this obviously fuels his fire for war during this conflict. As for the rest of the Venomized heroes, each proves instrumental in their own way regarding the primary events of Venom-Verse, which involved the Venom's war against the Poisons. The Robbie Reyes incarnation of the Ghost Rider is rechristened the Host Rider, thanks to his apparent gift for hosting entities. He serves honorably with the Venoms but is accosted by a poison that quickly infects him. Carnage kills him, but not without some fiery consequences through Reyes' death throes. Scott Lang also moonlights in the series as Ant Venom, but fails to make a substantial appearance until his death at the hands of the Poisons. Granted it's a poignant death, the Poison deceives Scott into believing it's his daughter, Casey, resulting in him leaping towards the creature. It's made all the more real by his cries to Rocket afterwards as he realizes his mistake and attempts to get out of it. Sadly, Rocket must remain focused on the mission and chooses to ignore Scott's cries for help. He is then subsequently euthanized by X-23. Gwenpool even gets in on the mayhem. She maintains a crush on Daredevil and has a charming and zany backstory before she's overtaken by the Hive. With that said, let's dive back into the events that will forever alter the Venom-Verse. Deadpool strikes back. The Venoms launch an ambush on the poisoned Gwenpool and Sabretooth as their push to turn the tide against the Hive begins. Leading with some of Rocket's landmines, Old Man Logan and X-23 leap down on top of Sabretooth, distracting him while Ant Venom incapacitates Gwenpool by growing large and containing her within his closed hand. This allows the rest of the combatants, including the unhinged Carnage, to focus their effects on the freakishly strong Sabretooth. When the dust settles, Sabretooth is killed by decapitation thanks to who else? Old Man Logan, of course. But Gwenpool, before her capture, gets one good dig in at Eddie. You're sort of a plain Jane, aren't you? Are you the boring friend who gets invited to the party out of pity? She was not pulling punches. Given they have some inherent power, whereas Eddie is just a man with a symbiote, it not only serves to isolate Eddie further from the team, but really highlights for the reader an aspect of the character that makes him so endearing. His ordinariness. Why Eddie Brock? It's a question that is absurdly fair to answer for any Venom fan. What makes this particular character paired with the symbiote compelling? Through exploring the Venom-Verse, we've reached our own conclusion. It's his humanity, his morality, and the fact he isn't super. In most of his early stories, he was actually depicted as a pretty bad husband and vigilante, but the real growth of the character is what wins readers and viewers over in the end. He's imperfect, he's hateful, he's angry, but hey, we all have our flaws. Returning to their position in the ruins of a skyscraper, the Venoms attempt to interrogate Gwenpool, and things are relatively productive. She mentions that the poisons have yet to fully comprehend the Carnage symbiote, but once they do, they intend to bond with it as they do with Venom. After revealing this foreboding bit of the Hive's machinations, Gwenpool is unceremoniously killed by a barrage of shuriken that sail in from off-panel. Her assailant is revealed to be the poisoned Deadpool. Having successfully infiltrated the Venom's hideout, the latter maintains elements of his former personality and breaks free of the control of the Hive long enough to diverge not only away into the poison's main lair, but also the entirety of their plans for the symbiotes. As fun and original as this story is, the endgame of the poisons is rather basic. They just want to be apex predators and take over the multiverse. You know, run-of-the-mill world domination. The mystery surrounding their motivations is what made them creepy, and the sudden evaporation of it takes us out of the story. Perhaps all the more fitting that this revelation would come from Deadpool, the master of breaking the fourth wall. Doctor Strange continues to endure cruel mind games at the hands of the poisons, but doesn't give in. The Hive would then receive some disconcerting company upon Deadpool's return to their HQ. The former merc with a mouth comes bearing a gift, the monstrosity known as Carnage, secured in some form of tendrils, likely coming from poison. We enter the finale with so many questions, the principal of which being, if Carnage was subdued, how did the other Venoms fare against Deadpool? And hold on, how did Deadpool capture Carnage? No Way Home. In an epic conclusion that moves at breakneck pace, Deadpool executes a shocking double cross that saves the Venom-Verse. While Carnage is under containment, using high-frequency sounds within the poison stronghold, Deadpool takes the deafening opportunity to impale Captain Venom. Setting Cletus free, the two plunge into combat with the Green Goblin and Rhino. Meanwhile, Eddie, Rocket, and the rest of the Venoms make their way into the poison's base to plant the explosive. It takes a team effort to bring this one home, but with every symbiote, from Eddie to Cletus, from Rocket to Wolverine, the synergy of the Venoms in this final chapter is breathtaking. Though this conclusion is not without its fair share of tragedies, as we do see some Venomized heroes like Logan meet their end. The team has two primary objectives upon assaulting the poison's lair: free Doctor Strange and destroy the enemy by making Rocket's day and detonating the bomb. Splitting into two teams, the mission grants Eddie the leeway to take more of a leadership role this time around, and he exceeds in that part. Further, it leads to a potentially character-defining rematch with the poisoned Spider-Man. The moment serves as a clear reversal of the two characters' fortunes in the main universe, showing Venom as the hero and Spidey as the villain. The two duke it out as Doctor Strange frantically works to return the Venoms to their respective realities, an effort that leads to his own demise. The cost is high. The casualties include Carnage, Deadpool, and Old Man Logan, but the mission is accomplished. The bomb detonates, and most of the Venoms, including Black Panther, Eddie, Rocket, and X-23 are transported home. To accomplish such a gargantuan spell, Doctor Strange gives the last of his magic and subsequently his life, the final casualty of the Venom-Verse war. The fate of the remaining cast upon returning to their realities is left open, and I have a feeling this may not be the last we see of them. But readers are then taken back to the mainline reality, Earth 616, to catch up with Eddie post-multiversal war, where it turns out that rent is due. Quite the welcome home. Despite this, he retains a chipper outlook and expresses pride in having saved the multiverse. Venom's reign as a cultural icon virtually guarantees his continued bizarre escapades in the years to come. Only time will tell if this includes a return to the Our Lady of Saints Cathedral, resolutely standing tall deep within the Venom-Verse. Thank you for watching to the end. Until next time, keep that armor on you. I'm KJ, have a great day, goodbye.